How is your eyesight? When I was a teenager, I absolutely hated wearing glasses. I despised these things. I never got picked on for being called four eyes, but my glasses, they didn't fit right. And they kept slipping down. So I would do this nose thing, like this, you know, to get them up. Yeah, I didn't think it made sense, you know, push them up. That's where I got picked on. Everywhere I'd go down the hall, and people would go like this to me, you know. I hated glasses, so I stopped wearing them. The problem is I couldn't see the board for school, so I never knew what I was learning. I never knew what to copy down. Teacher would ask me, "Hey, can you read from the book?" And I could never read from the book because I didn't have my glasses. I would drive. When I became a teenager, I would drive. Only problem is I'd run red lights, or I would drive far too close to the cars. I still do that. Even with glasses, I still run red lights sometimes and drive far too close to other cars. First time I tried contacts, I swore I was going to have a panic attack. They drove me crazy. My eyeballs felt like they were jumping out. I felt like everything was jumping at me, and it had been a while since I wore glasses because I was getting picked on for wearing glasses, so I figured contact. Oh, I was miserable. And in my first pair of contacts, they kept running up into my eyes. So in the middle of the night, my contacts would be in my eyes, and I'd ask Melanie to get them out, and she'd take tweezers. Tweezers and eyeballs don't mix.
Yeah.
So that's not smart. But we were newlyweds. We did it for fun. My eyes have gotten worse over the years. I started out just with regular glasses, astigmatism, but just regular glasses. These are bifocals. Pretty soon I'll have trifocals. Who knows what comes after that? My eyes have gotten worse over the years. Even when I do wear glasses, I still fail to see things. My vision is not perfect. Something can be right in front of me, like my keys, and I will go all over the house looking for them. I will tell Melanie, "I put them there, you must have moved them." They're right in front of me. They're right on my desk. The whole time, I just didn't see them. Even if your eyesight is 20/20, your vision is not perfect. Even if your eyesight is 20/20, your vision is not perfect. We fail to see things that are right in front of us. Not with God. He sees everything. He sees clearly. He sees always. He has perfect vision. Some see that as a bad thing. And if your image of God is this mean judge or traffic cop, then yeah, having a God that sees everything is bad. But the fact is, having a God that sees everything is really good news. Have you ever gotten one of those letters? We used to call them "I saw that" letters. It's just a letter, a note from somebody that they write to you and they say, "Hey, I saw that." I think it's very important. People who write letters are very important to me. I'm not a letter writer, but man, I sure do love getting letters, and especially the "I saw that" letters. I was working in mental health, and it was not a good experience for me. It was a pretty bad place to work. I had a 19-year-old client who was in jail for stealing a bike. Not only did he steal the bike, but he ran from the police, so it happened to go to jail. This young man he had oppositional defiance disorder, and he had impulse control disorder. So basically, if you told him to do something, the chemicals in his brain made him do it. Or if you told him not to do something, The chemicals in his brain made him do it. And if he saw something he wanted, he didn't have the impulses to say, that's not mine. So he saw a bike, stole it. Police told him to stop. He ran. I knew the jail was not right for this kid. And I had a placement for him. The problem is he was in jail and the placement was in New York and the judge would not let him go. I understood. But this placement was really good for him. It was structured. I was told that it is not my job to talk to the DA or advocate in the court system. So what did I do? I was oppositional. I built a relationship with the DA. I studied the codes of law. And since it wasn't my job to advocate in court, I took vacation on his hearing day. I managed to argue with the judge. I got him released. I got a plane ticket to New York. I organized for his sister to meet him in New York and a police escort to take him to the airport. The next day I got a note on my door saying, I saw that. My first thing was like, who saw what? I was a little freaked out. But the note said, I've been watching you. I saw what you did. I knew you risked your job. And I saw how much you cared. They saw me. Something that I had been hiding from everybody for the sake of keeping my job. It was seen. It meant something to somebody else. I meant something. I had value in their eyes. They saw that. That's what it means when we say God sees everything. When others don't, God sees you. His perfect vision is on you, not because he wants to catch you doing something wrong, but because he cares. You mean something to him. He takes the time to watch you. However invisible you might feel, you are not invisible to God. Every one of us needs to hear these words. I see you. These characteristics are described in Genesis chapter 16. If you have a Bible in front of you, please turn to Genesis chapter 16. You can kind of follow along. It's a little checkup. Can everybody hear me?
No,
No, some?
I need more volume.
Am I on? Okay. Have to do some adjustments. I'm used to talking to headlights and windshields. Now I'm talking to people. It's kind of weird. Chapter 16, Genesis. We all know this story. It's the story of Abraham. We know how Abraham was called by God, that Abraham was promised by God that he would have a son. The son would be by Sarah. And that through this son, he would become a nation and all the world would be blessed. We know this story. Problem is, Abraham and Sarah are old. They've been trying to have children. Nothing's working. So they take things in their own hand. Sarah has a slave named Hagar. And she says, hey, Abraham, I can't bear you a child. But Hagar can. So go ahead and have a child through Hagar. And in their mind, they were thinking this is how they're fulfilling the promises of God. Hagar gets pregnant, and immediately there are problems. Hagar kind of gets the attitude of, hey, I'm having the master's child. She gets a little bit snippety, you know. Sarah hates Hagar for having the child, even though she said, go ahead. Sarah mistreats Hagar. Abraham, he's just caught in the middle. It's so bad for Hagar that she runs. This slave girl, who is just doing what her master tells her, finds herself alone in the desert. But remember, we've talked a little bit about the desert. It's the desert where God does his best work. Some of his best work is done in the desert. It's in the desert where you encounter God. And he changes things around and the healing begins. That's what we find with Hagar. Genesis chapter 16, verses 7 and 8. The angel of the Lord found Hagar in the desert. And he said to Hagar, Hagar, where have you come from and where are you going? God does not see Hagar as this poor, unworthy slave girl. He finds her and he calls her by name. Hagar. That's giving her worth. It means something when you call someone by name. God knows my name. I'm Hagar. Not me, she. And then he asks her a question, which gives her even more worth. He says, where are you coming from and where are you going? To simplify this, God is saying, what's going on, Hagar? What's concerning you? How'd you get here? And where are you going? What's going on in your life? Where's your life going? That's the simple explanation for those questions. He does not ask because he does not know the answer. He asks because he wants Hagar to know that he cares. Why are you running? I care. Are you running? Something in your past, something you've done, or something that's been done to you, something that keeps following you throughout your life that you just can't slip. If that's you, God sees you. He knows your name, he knows your story, and he wants to guide you. For Hagar, he guided her back to Sarah, the person that was mistreating her. He guided her back to a bad situation. And many people think, why would God guide you back to a bad situation? He did. He guided her back to a bad situation. But God knows that sometimes the only way out of your problems is to go through them. And God promised Hagar, go back, go through them, but I'll be there. I'll take care of you. And then he elevates Hagar. He elevates Hagar and makes a promise to her that's on par with the promise that he made to Abraham. It goes in step with the promise he gave to Abraham. He says, your son will be named Ishmael. It's a wild man of or wild donkey of a man. That was his name, Ishmael. And through him, her descendants would be numerous. So she gets a promise that God will be there in that problem, in this bad situation and everything. This changed everything for Hagar. It changed her whole outlook. Hagar in verse 13, it says, she gave this name to God who spoke to her. This is Hagar the slave giving a name to God. You are the God who sees me. For she said, I have seen the one who sees me. There's the new name for God. That's today's name for God. Given by a slave girl. El Roi. Yeah, I have to pronounce it. I'm not Hebrew. But it means God who sees me. The good news for today is no matter where you are, no matter what you're going through, God sees you. He works in ways that you can't understand, but you matter to God enough that he sees you. You matter enough to God that he sees you. One of my favorite Psalms is Psalm 121, and that's one that you can turn to also and kind of follow along. Psalm 121, it's the first psalm that I learned to sing. And I not only learned to sing in English, but I learned how to sing it in Hebrew. It's the only song I know how to sing in Hebrew. And I will not sing it for you today. Maybe some other time I'll sing. I'm passing up a chance to sing in front of y'all. That's amazing. I've sung Elvis, I've sung Johnny Cash. I'm not singing Psalm 121. Anyway, I'm not going to do it. Okay. Follow along as I read Psalm 121. This is David in a dark time in his history. He's really in a dark place. And he says, I lift up my eyes to the hills. I lift up my eyes to the hills. David is in a dark place, and he looks up and he has a question. Where does my help come from? I'm stuck. I'm lost. I'm in the desert. Where does my help come from? And the answer is, my help comes from the Lord, maker of heaven and earth. And the thing is, when you feel like you're going to slip away, this psalm has the answer. When you feel like your life is slipping, it says, God will not let your foot slip. He who watches you will not slumber. He sees you, he watches over you, and he will not fall asleep on the job. Melanie, what happens if I sit down for more than 10 minutes at home?
5 minutes you're snoring.
5 minutes of snoring.
If I lay down, mine's like 2 minutes.
Yeah, that you sit me down, you stop me, I'm dead. I'm gone. That's why I jump all over the place, because I can't sit down. I fall asleep very quickly. God's not like that. He does not sleep. He keeps watching over you. Let's go on. Look at how many times the word watch is used in the scripture. Verse 4, indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade in your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He watches over your life. And even when you don't know where you're coming or going or what you're doing, the Lord will watch over your comings and goings, now and forevermore. I find great peace in knowing that. He watches me. He sees me. And I'm going to be okay. Look at today. We're all affected by what's going on in the world. Regardless of your view on it, we're all affected. Pandemic, whether you think the pandemic is a virus or a panic, you're affected. Racial unrest, whether you think it is a small matter or a big matter, what matters is you are affected. Politics. I don't want to have a heart attack, so I'm not going to go there. Keller, raise your hand and say thank you. When I look at all the things that are affecting us today, I lift up my eyes. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord. He created everything. He watches me. He sees me. He will not slip. He will not sleep. And even when I don't know what's going on or where I'm going, He watches over me. My God, that's who you are. You see me. So what do we do with this? What does this mean, understanding that God sees me? Jesus came and he showed us that he had the same eyes as God. Jesus is the one who sees us. As his followers, our goal is to be like him. That's our goal. To see people the way he sees them. To see both the good and the bad, and to show love. To see the struggles and help them stop running. To help them by guiding their way through the desert. And most of all, if we want to be like Jesus and have his eyes, we need to watch them. We need to watch for opportunities to show God in us. That's how people change. When they see God in you, people want that. They want to change. We need to watch for opportunities to tell of how God loves us and how he loves you. We need to watch for opportunities to share God with them. He is our waymaker, our promise keeper. He is the light in the dark. And he sees you. How is your vision? It improves when you start seeing things with God's eyes. Now let's pray. Dear Lord, we have so much to thank you for. We thank you most of all for being you. And then telling us about you. Telling us who you are and what you expect. We ask that we can follow in your likeness and know that you had a mission to redeem us, a mission to bring us back to you so that we can spend eternity with you. And that mission is ours. So help us to make disciples. Help us to become better disciples and to make more disciples, people who love God, love people, and serve the world. In Jesus' name, amen.